All right, we're live on the dot. Who all's in here tonight? I see Unfinished Project is here with Dart Sport. I'm in here with Tow Motor for once. You saw the thumbnail. It's a fork truck I was working on this week. Pure Pontiac Garage is here. Southern Juju, the One-Eyed Cat. NSB Lee. Dan E. Boyd, Engine Light Garage. Buff says it's a 4-cylinder flathead. Who made it? I think it's a Continental. Not exactly sure. I'll find out this week. He wants me to rebuild the carburetor on it, so I guess we'll find out. Buff said that the ones they used in the Air Force, those tugs had slant 6 in them. Yep. All I know is that little thing works pretty good. We've pulled engines with it, straightened frames with it. These days it's just used to move big, heavy floor jacks and hydraulic equipment. Colleen Tebow is here. Ron English. Bigfoots and Mopar's Mark. How's it going? Max Wedge Dick Dastardly, owner of the Max Wedge of Doom. 63 Plymouth with both a cross ram and a tunnel ram. Cope is in the house. How's it going? Unfinished Project reminds us it's 195 days, minus a bunch of hours until the 3rd annual AHRA No Name Nationals. Levi said, little mad YouTube didn't notify me. I put no faith in YouTube notifications. I just do it on my phone. It's something important. Mean Street Mopar, how's it going? Mean Street Mopar is, I know he's just about to turn the corner on getting the subs really rolling. He's got them trickling in now, and he's getting it rolling. We're all pulling for it. One-Eyed Cat says Uncle Sonny has a 49 Crosley I want dibs on. Yeah, that actually does sound pretty cool. You should do a video on it, Don. Buff says under 200 days. Indeed it is. Andrew Nelson. Hola from Team Nivlac 57. How's it going, folks? You know, Andrew, there's some pretty quick cars there. They're saying they're coming to Sykeston. I'm pretty well expecting that the ET record is going down this year. You might want to look around at what's floating around out there. I could think of at least Joe and I were talking about it. I could think of 8 cars right off the top of my head that should run in the 5s this year. Some of them deep in the 5s. Joe thought of several more. So it's going to be an interesting heads up field this year. Heavens Mopars is here. Levi says out of surgery at 11 and doing okay. Little pain, but overall not bad. Ooh. Mayor's Workshop says someone has lost his razor. Well, I don't know who that someone is because I never use a razor. One thing I use a razor for is if I need to trim something or, I mean, that's about the best package opening device ever. Just you take a blade and cut it. Bad Tree Blake says I'm watching women's basketball. Cool. Ron English says, did my day of work, then donated blood again today. Okay, you said broke my 15-gallon mark. Okay, so this wasn't involuntary. That's the only way I've donated blood was didn't mean to. Brian Beeler. How's it hanging? Be neat to get Ben Stein to make you an intro. Beeler. Andrew Nelson says, we hope so. Ooh. Levi says, all it takes is a $549,999. I think it's going to go lower. think it's going to go lower. We got some people excited with some fast cars, and the track is substantially better from all reports. So I think the thing's going to hook this year. I think it's going to be good. And they ran all winter, keeping it prep too. So I expect better from this year. The fella who's running and actually working the track this year is the fella who was running and working it when they had their faster cars there. Their 4-second stuff there. So I think that it's going to be a different deal this year. Good traction compound, a lot of good prep. Andrew Nelson says if they can't beat us, they can't beat a 6-cylinder. Who wins? I think you should rub that in every chance you get if they can. I mean, as a promoter, I just want a bunch of people to show up and be fast and be happy and have a good time. Unfinished Project is reminding us that it's only 28 Saturdays until the No Name Nationals 2024. If you say so, that sounds about right. Saturday is usually the day I do the least for that event on because I got other things I have to do. I'll work on it during the week. Don says, Circle of Life, I'm no longer eligible. I was on a run of 20 years. Okay. No longer eligible for what? Not giving blood or something? Buff says the Crosley engines come with a handle cam drive. I don't know anything about Crosleys. There's one in Tazewell, Virginia that sits on an intersection. A car lot uses it for a sign, and it's really bombed out looking. There's Dead Pedal Motors. How's it going? I have a client calling me. Let me send him a message so he will know I'm live. It's like they're wired to know when I'm live. I'm just going to tell him, call him. In fact, he's got the link. There we go. Yeah. As soon as I sent that, he said, "Oh, this is your live night." I'm like, "Yep." Dead Pedal Motors in for a few minutes before getting the kids to bed. Well, that's cool. Glad you could join us. So One-Eyed Cat says heart attack makes you ineligible. Okay. Didn't know that. Heavens Mopar says next weekend he's planning on going to the Seattle area to get the inner roof structure. So that charger. Tick, tick, tick. Dead Pedal Motor says, how is everyone? What'd y'all get done on your cars this week? Well, you're the new guy in the chat. What have you got going on? I know what Don's been doing. I'm working on getting to Don's here real soon to get him a transmission. I think Dougster's been leaving potatoes at Cope's shop. Unfinished Project's been gathering all kinds of parts. Unfinished Project had a score week on parts. Colleen says, I got a Hastings sticker for my machinist today. It's blue. Right on. Dead Pedal Motors got Sniper 2 installed. Power distribution module worked up, installed minus radiator fuel cell wiring. Well, it all gets there. One piece at a time. Yeah, Unfinished Project took his trusty W350 to pick up parts. Hey, there's Charles Servito's cylinder Cylinder head porting and flow bench. Hey, glad you could make it. Charlie, when are you headed home? I know you're down at DV's this week. Yes, one-eyed cat. We're working on that. Which one orders did I work on, Fred? Well, when you report back to Cabral, you can tell him that I worked on the tow motor forklift for my friend Ben. That's what I worked on this week. That wiring harness is hideous. I put it on the thumbnail. It's the wiring in it's all original and it's all cloth jacketed and it's a disaster. So wound up putting both battery cables on it and then several of the leads that were under the starter and a couple that were under the switch and soldered them instead of crimped because I just hate crimp connections. And I had to fix my welder too. I had a loose positive cable on the welder. Had to do the same thing, believe it or not. I didn't know they attached them that way, but Miller actually takes this little sleeve that goes over the end of your wire and then they put it in with a set screw into the connector. It's a twist lock connector. Problem is it's just loose in there. It doesn't take much to pull it out. So I took it out, put a new sleeve on there, soldered the sleeve, put the set screw back. Then I had to wind up cutting a few threads off the set screw because it wouldn't just collapse the sleeve. But it's a much better setup now. I'm thinking about doing the negative that way, even though it's not loose, because if they did it the same way, if it's not, it will be. No, Cabral doesn't bother me, Fred. I just know you're one of the groupies over there. Doesn't he bother you? Man, that guy. Did you read the stuff this week? Can't believe anybody still believes that guy. I guess it's like I equate Cabral to being like he's the like the professional wrestling suspension of disbelief guy. You know, he's total kayfabe. You have to know he's not real, but I guess that's the deal. Cloth jacketed out. Well, I don't know, Don. That's what it was. It had and it was all really rotten. Wound up making pretty close to half of a wiring harness for that thing from scratch. What's up, Dizzy? Glad you're here. I see Mohawk is here. Scott says he put 2 patches on the firewall, the 68, and a patch on the rocker and installed the floor pan. Oh, now I can sell it and get the charger in the garage. I'm telling you what, Scott, that 194 days and 3 hours and 46 minutes you're going to need every bit of it. This is going to be cool. Dexter's already cooking up his deer. Wiring should be on the to-do list. Yeah. Oh, you know him personally and served for years? I don't believe that, Fred. I don't believe that. Why does he use pictures of other people's military service? And that's proven. He said he was that guy, and we proved he wasn't. Just bogus. I mean, it's just bogus. If you're here to tell me that guy's telling the truth, I don't believe a word of that. And don't say unlike none of you. We do have plenty of veterans in the chat too. So anyway, that's enough. That's enough. You got your 15 minutes, Fred. Someone can toss him now. Dead Pedals Motor says, but who's counting? I'm counting. It's a lot of fun. That's the purpose of the orange paper. We all have a common goal. Max Wage Dick Dastardly bought a hydraulic cable into crimper. Yeah, those are nice. I know people that, have hydraulic crimpers and stuff like that. I've just never, I'll crimp them by hand and then solder them. Well, first things first, I'll take the vise and get rid of that plastic thing and just toss that on those connectors that have it. And then I solder them and then heat shrink them. Yeah, our veterans are starting to speak up, Fred. Maxwell's Dick Dashes is $35. Yeah, I don't know. I just got a way I've been doing it that works. You just gotta. It's like flaring a line. You got to remember to put your heat shrink on first. Danny Boyd says just twist and heat shrink. Yeah, I solder it and then heat shrink up over the soldered part of the connector itself. And it's one of those things. There's a bunch of little differences you can have. 38 POS Racing, Ray. What's your preferred way to do wire ends and such? Rob's Rods and Streetcars, how's it going? If you guys didn't see it here a few days ago, Rob's Rods and Streetcars, the whole chat somehow ganged up on poor old Levi, and they have him getting married at the No Name Nationals. So anyway, I just said if he ever wanted to do it, I'm sure the house would be down for it. But I thought that was funny. Rob is now the wedding planner. Dead Pedal Motors says USMC here never understood the whole stolen valor to be pretending military thing. I don't understand it either, but there's plenty of people who do it. And I never thought Cabral was stolen valor until no one can find any record of him. I figured he probably had a short run in the Corps that was less than stellar or something he didn't particularly like and wanted to embellish or something. I kind of figured that was the case. But now I wonder if he even served at all. I have no idea. I don't know. All I know is one thing is that guy who he said he was in that photo, he absolutely is not. That is not him. That's Chris Bustamante. The photo was taken October 30th, 2006, and it was taken in Afghanistan. Totally sourced. Is not him. One-Eyed Cat says, I claim that conversation. Brooke needs a ring. Levi's like, no, you got to start it in here. Heavens Mopar says, I feel the pressure. They say 7 is God's number, 7 months to go. Hopefully God will bless this journey to make things work out so I can attend the No Name Nationals with the project. Well, right on. We hope so. But, enjoy the journey. Don't let, getting it done take away from being able to enjoy just going and being there with your friends. Functional Histories just got here talking about stolen valor. Yeah, we were mentioning it. One of Cabral's guys came in here to defend him again. I have no idea what service Cabral did or didn't. I think it's extremely suspect, but he's definitely not that guy in the photo that he said he was. That got taken down quickly. 38 POS Racing says, for the ultimate connection, I'll crimp, solder, and heat shrink terminals for joint. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a good way to go. Yeah, this fork truck had it had the bolt-on terminal ends on the battery cables, and they were corroded back in the jackets. And something I hadn't seen before, the flattened end that they press flat and put a hole through for a bolt, it had corroded back inside where it was flattened, and it was disintegrating from the inside out. I took a wire wheel to it, and just pieces of it were coming off everywhere. It almost looked like tinfoil that was on top of the wire. I said, well, this is just not going to work. This is why this isn't working. So Danny Boyd tried. Dead Pedal Motor says the Ultimate Proof's DD214. Those things are faked so badly now. You watch any of Don Shipley's videos, a lot of people are getting bogus DD214s offline, but that's okay. If he wants to show a bogus DD214, I can always verify it. So if he wants to show one, that's fine. I don't think he will. Busted Radio Garage, how's it going? Mater's Workshop says, is there a charge for camping at the track? Well, if you're talking about the track in Sikeston, the Skelton Raceway at Sikeston Drag Strip with No Name Nationals is no, there is not. What we don't have there is power. You need to have your own power. You need to have generator. So there aren't like power outlets like out in the pits or anything. Yeah, Levi's got to get 24 other rings first. Sorry, Levi, I got it going again, didn't I? Rapid Transit Garage Jay is here. What's going on, Jay? Jay, actually, Colleen sent something out about someone needing help with a Wisconsin title, and I'm like, well, you're in Wisconsin, so look, you or Jason might know. You'd have a better idea than I do. Big Mike is here. How's it going, man? StreamYard's jumping up a bunch of comments at a time, so I'm having a tough time keeping up. Well, functional histories, get one that runs on solar or a generator because power's hard to come by out there. Prime Dealer says April 8th, the solar eclipse will be visible in my area. And it's being posted. Invasion of people in our little town starting get me to question the event in general if they're saying people are coming here. Okay, that's weird. Yeah, Austin from Lucor Automotive is wanting some help with a Wisconsin title. So Brooke is wanting to do a 5th gen Camaro, the Transformers Camaro. Wow. Andrew Nelson says he'll throw in 100. Ron will throw in 20, trying to fund Levi a ring. It's a very generous community. Turbo Tom says I live in the best spot to see the eclipse. Cool. Rainy Day Auto says I never understood the fascination with gold rings. Should be made out of steel because it's strong, not weak like gold. Yeah, but steel is expensive. I thought that was the point. Rob's Rods and Street Cars almost did away with my 79 for a 2010 Camaro, but saw the roof was buckled too bad to repair. So he stayed with his. Unfinished project saw an eclipse today. Zoom, zoom. You mean a Mitsubishi eclipse? Dead Pedal Motors is asking a question. This is the kind of thing I can see the chat getting on a rabbit hole with. Pick between these two, Studebaker Presidente or AMC Marlin. All right, let's see who wins this one. I think I know what it's going to be. So we got a Mopar heavy chat. I know. What does that have to do with it? Well, I'll tell you in a minute. Marlin. Of course, Andrew Nelson says Studebaker. Marlin. AMC. Engine Light says. Rainy Day Auto just says this. Max Wedge Dick naturally votes that. Marlin. See, I knew Marlin would take off and win that. But I mean, I think the reason that a lot of people like that Marlin is because it had so much of the same look as the '66 7 Charger. Got a Mopar heavy chat, so I can see that. One I can says, give me the one that's running. Yeah, look at that, Ron. Ron English is already trying to cause you some inflation, Levi. Brian Beeler says, I prefer AMC Rebel. Rabbit Trans J says, that's correct. Yeah, I'm telling you, people have always said that. They like the Marlin because it looks like the Charger. Maybe, Danny Boyd. I'll tell you what, though, when you're driving about 50 miles an hour, every one of us has driven by on the road and looked over in a yard and said, oh, is that a Charger? Oh, no, it's a Marlin. And we've all done that. Every one of us has done that. T's Good Time Garage said, I'm a Mopar or no car as they get. I was Mopar or no car as they get, but I've had a few Studebaker projects back in the day. Well, that's cool. Oh, McDonald's is Marlin because it's now a Mopar. Well, yeah, but look at that stuff they're calling Mopar. I mean, look at that insane, ridiculous performance stuff that they're offering for next year. EV and 6-cylinder, and nothing wrong with the 6, but it's just like, come on, man. You should still have a V8 offering for it. Rainy Day Auto says, I'd take a Rebel 4-door, but a Valiant is probably still better. SRP. I have not misjudged a Marlin for a Charger. Where have you been hiding, SRP? So Functional History says Ford Shogun or Dodge GLHS, the Omni. Yeah, Dodge GLHS. Yeah, right. Well, it will be the same thing. Mopar heavy crowd. Volkswagen Type 2 or Corvair? Type 2 or Corvair? Do you mean the Carmen Ghia or the Corvair, or do you mean like the bus Type 2? Because a Type 2 is a bus. SRP is hiding from Trump. Well, good luck, because he is omnipresent. Functional History hates to admit it, but he's owned several Festivas. Yeah, well, they're okay. I like cool little cars like that. What's the? I think the Fiesta is the tiny one that they make now, and there's one of them that runs around town. I see it. I'm like, man, you put like 2 top fuel slicks on the back of that, you wouldn't even have anywhere to run 4 links back to it. I see Andy drifting through. How's it going, sir? And of course, Andy drifting through wakes Cope up. Glad you can make it, Andy. Functional History says Corvairs are the bane of my diecast existence. I'll go with VW. Okay, yeah, I can see that. Levi says there was an old 70s Ford Focus on Copart, ended up going cheap. Yeah, I can see that. Andy says the whole crew is here tonight. There's a lot of the crew here. We're probably not quite peak yet, but yeah, we got a lot of folks here tonight. And I'm happy for whomever is. Except Fred Blend. He can take a hike. The rest of y'all are cool. Engine Light Garage. Currently running the No Name 500. Cheer him on. Working his way toward that magic 500 so he can participate in the 3rd annual No Name Nationals. I guess a 78 Fiesta had my DUI in that car. Buster Radial says, to be honest, my 64 Corvair is one of my favorite cars. Yeah, they're cool. Andy says, you coming down tomorrow? I'm weighing it. I'm really thinking about it. I had asked Servito earlier when he's going back. I'll figure out a yay or nay right after this live and go with it. Yeah, we might be crossing the stream with a whole bunch of us 318 infidels in one spot tomorrow. We'll see. Oh, look at this. Dead Pedal Motors says, now that I know it's Mopar heavy, 67 Barracuda or Plymouth Savoy. That's an interesting one. That's a good one. I think I know what they're going to ask as their follow-up. And it's tied into A body, B body, right. But what year? Dawn loves this community. Yeah. Great community. It's a wonderful community. Did you manage to lose 3 subs, Jason? Is the YouTube audit monster making its rounds? Seems like everybody loses a chunk at a time, and that's what happens. It happens. Yeah, Andy, we could have 4 of the 5 most hated 318 infidels in one spot tomorrow. Imagine that. Yeah, I'm gonna figure it out and see right after this live, and we'll figure it out and yay or nay and do it. Hey, I'd like to get to meet you in person, sir. Cope says, Wilburn, what's up with the thumbnail? That is an old tow motor fork truck that belongs to my friend Ben. And he is a 2nd generation tool repair guy, works on hydraulic, electric tools, air tools. And that's their shop's fork truck. And he wanted me to do some electrical work on it and wants me to build the carburetor for it and do some other stuff. It needs a round of freshen up. So that's the deal with that. My friend Ben has been doing that kind of work. He graduated high school, I think he said on a Wednesday or a Thursday, and it would have been in 96. He's a couple years behind me. And he said that Monday morning he went to work for his dad, and he's worked in the same place ever since. The same place. Well, now he owns the place. He inherited from his father, but he's had the same job since a couple of days after he graduated high school. Anyway, that's their 2nd fork truck. They had one that was a little bigger, and we used it we changed more engines and stuff with it. But once they moved out of that shop that had a big loft in it, they didn't need as big a fork truck. So you got that little tow motor, and it's great. We've done a lot of stuff with it. It works good for a lot of things. It's just time. It needs a carb rebuild. It had a bunch of mess with the wiring. We cleaned all that up. Dead Pedal Motors, you need to see Max Wedge Dick Dastardly's channel. I think you dig that. Well, the big thing is, Main Street Mopars, get your 500 subs, or just the main thing is just get yourself there again. We want to hang out with you again. But then get your subs, and, you'd be surprised. Just driven to make that content, you'll get more done on your cars. Neat how that works. Danny Boyd says, I don't think I've ever driven a 318. You are missing out. SRP, you still sitting in Tony's garage. I have no idea what you're talking about. This is not Tony's garage. Rainy Day Auto, you can do whatever you want to do. I go by my real name. Some people do, some people don't. Although I will say this community is a lot of them use their real names and such, and the vast majority of people in this chat meet at the No Name Nationals in person. So that's you'll probably see less anonymity here than anywhere else on YouTube. So yeah, do what you want to do. Dead Pedal Motors said, I used to only build Mopars. When the prices went ridiculous, I left for military and just never really got back to them. I hear you. And there used to be a lot bigger divide between the Mopars and, say, the Chevrolet, for example, on performance parts. That gap has closed in that they're all expensive now. And a lot of stuff, it's not as much. But yeah, nothing cheap about any of them anymore. But some of the Chrysler stuff does cost more still. Brian Beeler says, nothing wrong with losing Indonesian subscriber bot accounts that get banned. Does come with success. Well, there you go. Brian's got a good channel cooking along. One-Eyed Cat says, most people have two names. Old McDonald says, I've already been stalked, so I just use my real name. Functional Histories, are you talking about, which Tony are you talking about? Functional Histories does not use his real name. It's a pseudonym they picked out. Yeah, there's several people that have, whatever. Charles says, posting negative without your real name is weak. Yeah, a perfect example of that will be like Mr. Swinger 1. He's one of those. He says, my name is Hunter, by the way. I tell you, people generally do wind up getting a nickname from their channel. Dizzy Izzy is Roger, but people here call him Dizzy just pretty much exclusively. Although we don't know his name's not Roger. That's just for example. I bet you not many people in this chat could even tell you Mohawk's real name. I know everybody's real name because they all get in the book, but yeah. Yep, I was on Tony's channel a lot for years. We don't use fake pictures here, though. I find it's just really easy to just not be fake and not lie and use your real name and your real picture and just then you don't have to, I've noticed old Cabral forgets from time to time, Russell from Outfits, how's it going? Mexican Spec. So, what is this? Is it Tavo in Australia? Dead pedal due to most new cars not having them anymore. Okay. Does the president's son make you feel ashamed? You talking to Hunter from Sand Mountain Ballistics? The president's son's had that name longer than he has and certainly done a lot worse for it. What about mine? Yeah, so Levi, that's actually Dylan Levi, but we all call him Levi, but that's actually his last name. He's got one of those last names that's a lot popular for a first name. Yeah, right. I believe that is true. SRP, you going to make the No Name Nationals this year? Is this your year? Got 194 days and 3 hours and 19 minutes. You actually have a little more time than that if you want to work through the night before you roll in. Yeah, SRP was RP Dynalo, if I recall. Yeah, Turbo Tom started with real name, then changed to email name. Yeah. But I tell you, you can meet almost all of these people at Sykeston. We don't have any problems, drama there, nothing. It's great. Ryan Bigler says, I skipped that day I needed to be a speed shop or being called a garage. Yeah. Yeah. So Tony and I went to pick up, or well, no, actually drop off a Hemi block for Ray Barton to get machined. And Tony came by Chrysler's at Carlisle. He was there 15 minutes, and it's like, nope, that's it. That's all the crowds and community headache I can have for a day. That's it. That was his limit. So that day, we went and dropped off the engine. I came back. Before I even got back, I get a call from Lunar Outlaw Brian, his buddy uh, that worked at the time for Hemmings and now works for Richard Petty. Uh, he had a wiring fire in his Roadrunner. His father had what was it? He had a really bad oil leak on his 70 Fury. So they had two cars down that they drove to get to Carlisle. So I get there, they hitched a ride in. I picked them up. They were staying at the same place I was. I was driving, of all things, a 91 Camaro LS swap. And Don will remember that, and Ron will. I was driving my buddy's Camaro that I swapped the LS in. I picked him up in that, which is weird because they figured I'd be a Mopar guy. I thought, well, yeah, I am. I'm driving X brand today, though. We went back, fixed the oil leak on the Fury, and they, hung out for our live. And I think, tell me if I'm wrong, guys. I don't remember which one. Was that the live where, was that the year we tried to burn the building down with the Roadrunner horn, or was that a different year? I'm thinking that was a different year. Russell says, I have a great time in Sykeston. Look at that. NSB Lee sneaked in there. Right. You see what I'm saying? He gets called Juju when he meets people in person at this time. Right. That's what happens. Clint Street Machines. How's it going? Dead Pedal Motors said that his old accounts got hacked and started over. Yeah, it's a bummer. That happened to Country Boy Gas Garage, but he got it fixed. It took a lot of wrangling with YouTube to get it fixed, but he did. A whole 14 minutes? Okay, that was what he spent at the show right there. Ooh, midnight tonight. Okay. Well, I'll print you out, put you in the book, all that good stuff. Twisted Mopar Garage. How's it going? Heavens Mopar says can't get to all the comments. Well, that's okay. I actually don't either. Dakota's invented the LS swap. No, I did not invent the LS swap, but I was early doing one. Um, I have a set of really early set of motor mounts, transmission mounts from the old F Body Motorsports in North Carolina. Um, I did a street rod style header on one side and a swept header on the other because swap headers weren't real common then. It was an interesting swap. It wasn't bad to do, but it was different. You couldn't just get a turnkey kit and all that stuff back then. Car's fast too, real fast. Mexican Spec remembers the Roadrunner horn. Yeah. Ron warned him at the desk, if you hear a car horn, no, a car didn't drive through the wall. Ron went out and fetched us a battery, as I recall. Yep, pit thrash in the parking lot. Indeed. Ron English is the Valiant as Uncle Sonny's build. Yeah, but the next chapter is coming from Don, so. Exactly. One-Eyed Cat says it's our build now. Right. Dakota said, did you have to buy and send back 12 sets of headers? No, I didn't have to do that. I wound up wrangling both individually. And if you don't tell people, they don't even notice. But the way that chassis is made, you can get the headers now, but Dougster was given an original Roadrunner horn and it's shorted out. Dougster, is it a black or purple horn? And also, those Roadrunner horns have aluminum windings in them. So if you want to fix it or have it fixed, you really need to know that. .38 said, I've built 2 LS harnesses, still need to do a swap. Jared at Current Performance did a custom harness for this car, and it works great. David James says, got a couple 383s to rebuild. Which is better, 64 or 69 high performance as far as block goes? Any tips? On the block, I don't know. The high performance is it's a higher compression version. So I'll start with that. Are they complete, or what do you want to do with it? Purple, yeah. Purple's more common. 68 is the horn is black, and then 69 up all the way through 80, it was purple. But they have a special bracket that isolates the vibration, and they have aluminum windings, and that's how they get the pitch. SRP watched Two Hacks because I've been wanting to buy a boring bar, and his video popped up. Yeah. Two Hacks uses a Van Norman boring bar, indexes it off the deck. He told me some of his build plans today. Yeah, I found a horn at Carlisle. I did. I've got a couple. Yeah. Tip go to 400 or 440. Yeah, well, it just depends what you want to do. 383 block is cool. You can do a 383. You can do a stroker in that 383, get 426 inches out of it too. It has the same bore as a Hemi if you use the longer stroke crank. You can take a 440 crank, cut it down on the mains from 2 3/4 to 2 5/8, I believe, and you can get a 426. You can also do it, I think, with the smaller general rods, but that's not a full 426 at that point, I don't think. Can't remember. There are some different ways people stroke those and do some stuff with the 383 block that wasn't that popular a few years ago, but 440s and 400s don't grow on trees. 400 used to be the ones you couldn't give away, and now people are really caught on to this low deck stroker stuff, and people want those 400s now. I have never owned a 400. David James says 64 is breather to pan original. That's pretty cool. If the 69's already been into, well, go for it. That'd be a good one. I mean, I don't know that trying to figure out, all the virtues the resto blocks. I don't know nearly as much about it with the big blocks as I do the small blocks. Danny Boyd says sometimes you can revive a car horn with WD-40. That's not a bad tip. Dakota says 20,000 is bigger than a 440. Yeah, I think a factory 400 bore is 4.342. It's 22 thousandths bigger than a 440. That's why when you do the overbores and strokers, one comes out to 451 and one comes out to 452. Yeah, but Beeler, that 400, that's what people want to build regardless now, is the short deck stroker. Blake says, okay, Iowa won 95-63. What's up, heathens and Will Burners? There you go. Well, we're talking about a Roadrunner horn that doesn't work. Hey, Blake will know this one. Which should you build, a 400 or a 440? Busted Radio Chris has worked on my first LS today. Definitely interesting, aren't they? You look at the stuff on the LS, like the gaskets, and you have all those gaskets with a shim that have the rubber, and then all that, those nice cast parts and fasteners. All that's really nice about an LS. $400 stock sucked. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, from the factory, there's a lot to be desired, but they're a wonderful basis to build. Later, sir. Bound to be the baddest 318 heads in the known universe. Yeah, seriously. Those things, you look at that, you forget how nice that late model stuff is. The bolts with the shanks and all the gaskets and all those little things until you go to working on ones. Like, this is really nice. But then you look at some of the other stuff, but they do run. Most of the old parts in Russ says 440 stroke to 520. One-eyed cat's building a 440. Andrew Nelson says the LT stuff is better, but not catching on like the LS because of direct injection. Main caps were different, yeah. So this LS came to me in a giant box, like you would get like a stove for your house in. Huge box, disassembled, and the parts were just dumped in the box. It was a disaster. All the hardware, everything, but I got that thing all back together and it runs great. Mohawk put a 400 in my 71 Challenger. The power of a big block that revved like a small block. Well, the stroke on a 400 is only 70 thousandths more than a small block Mopar. And it's less than a 360. Brian Beeler, 440, 520, game over. I don't know about that. Andrew Nelson might have something to say about that. Don likes running points. Points are cool. I've had less overall problems with, electronic ignition, but I mean, you either carry an extra points or you carry an extra ignition box. Either way, you're carrying an extra ballast resistor. Yeah. Battery Blake says slant 6 with forced induction, game over. I think if Blake woke up in purgatory, that's what he would have to work on for the rest of his life. A slant 6 with forced induction. I wouldn't even say that Rainy Day Auto seems like a racer heavy crowd. Not necessarily, but these guys like stuff that's fast. Most stock V8s have enough power for me because I like to build cars to make miles, not so much race. That's cool. Have any goal you like. Ron, that was just setting out everything and trying to inventory. It was really something. And cleaning and wiping everything down with oil and everything. It was a job. It has to be the absolutely worst packaged engine for shipping I have ever seen. Busted Radio says I was hammered with a ton of safety changes for 24 seasons, so I took Homer half apart. While waiting on parts, LS was a cool project. You are such an overachiever. Right on, Scott. That'd be great. I'm all for it. That sounds pretty cool, Blake. A grass corner is a dog park. If you can help me figure out how we should do that, like how do you set that up with fencing or whatnot? But yeah, I don't know why not. We need to figure it out before people roll in because all the little corners and such are. I know Jethro would love it. I can tell you this, SRP, a lot of people do and have a great time. So, is Auto Salvage Outlaws in here? There we go. I didn't see you come in. I saw you mentioned. Sick and weak, can't say hello to everybody. Well, you just did. I'm putting it out there for you. So, Auto Salvage Outlaws is under the weather, but he says hello and glad you could stop in. Snow fence. Yeah, these are the kind of details I'd probably need some help with. But yeah, let me, let's talk about that. Jeff sleeps literally, I bet you he doesn't sleep more than 2.5 hours a night. I don't know how the guy does everything he does. I have no idea. Yes, that's like the peak of the party. We're having fun year round. Indeed. 38 POS Racing says winter storm warning yesterday. We had a little bit of rain today, and that's it. When I cat says SRP, what's better is making NNN our anniversary weekend. Ron English says Sykeston is my vacation. Blake says if J-Bo doesn't stop dragging feet, I'm doing 6 Summer with Ricky again. Well, cool. Functional History just wants to hang out. It's great to hang out. David James says, how loose is too loose for nitrous application? That's a broad question. How loose is too loose what? Well, Auto Salvage Outlaws, take good care of yourself, and we look forward to seeing you soon. SRP, you have to talk to him. I don't know. 38 POS Racing says it's a peaceful vacation for me. ASO says he'll be at No Name Nationals 2024. Blake says good luck. Cool. On whatever. Tavo got a blue screen of death. I'm telling you, I'd get him on this ancient machine from time to time. And if I do, I'll be right back. But a couple times a year, it'll do that on me in the middle of a stream. I keep thinking I kind of want to go to a Mac for that reason. The solid state driving all seems to be happier with that. I don't know. Undecided. Southern Juju says, I'm heading out. Stay safe. If I don't see you here, I'll catch you at the No Name Nationals. Well, cool. I know I'll be there, and a lot of these folks will too. Dougster says he saw Tom Bailey's ice cream truck at Autorama. I wish Larry Jeffers would bring his bus to the No Name Nationals. Andrew Nelson says converter. Two loose is too loose. Our tightest converters are our nitrous converters. Okay, cool. So Andrew caught the first part of that. I will tell you, if Andrew Nelson has some advice, yes. How's that? He knows stuff. Blake says power tour is for guys with New Balance on. 6 summer is like a religious experience. SRP, can I bring my whatever that is to Sykeston? I'm guessing that's a motorcycle. Well, I mean, why don't you? If you're going to make a go of it and participate, call out 113 cycles. Buster Hales says, I love my New Balance shoes. I'm wearing New Balance shoes right now, but they're not white, and I don't wear them with jean shorts and tall white socks. I got too many buddies that are into doing that who would build a better machine than I could. So that's probably what I'll wind up doing. Dead Pedal Motors is headed to Power Tour with a station wagon I pulled from a rotting grave. Cool. That sounds great. Where is Sykeston? Sykeston is in the Boot Heel of Missouri. And you know what I'll do is see if this will be worth anything to do. By the way, on March 29th, the last Friday of this month, I'm going to have a live stream that's all about information for the No Name Nationals. It's geared toward newer people. All of these kind of things. Where it is, why it is, what we do, all of those 411 type of information questions. And not that you can't ask whatever here, obviously, but it's geared toward that didn't work. It's geared toward people who maybe haven't been before. Okay. So Sykeston, if you see that little area right there, what you're looking at is the western edge of Tennessee and the southern tip of Illinois where they converge. Sykeston is in that. It's actually not as far west as Memphis, Tennessee. Colleen says, rainy day, there are no dumb questions. I disagree. There are some dumb questions, but I certainly haven't read one here tonight. You guys ask good questions. Mr. Radio says, I'm taking Linda. Cool. But I build my cars for everything. Yeah, I mean, build it how you want to do it. I mean, for me, I wouldn't want to try to do everything, but if you want to do that, that's awesome. Dust Devil says, I'm late, but I'm here. Dougster says, I want to do Power Tour wants to say I did it. That's a good reason to do it. I mean, that's why people climb Mount Everest, isn't it? Indirect Connection says, I'm taking the Slant 6 Belvedere. We all know the type you're talking about. Yeah, there's all kinds of characters out there. Dust Devil says, working overtime. Race cars are expensive. Got to pay that Mopar tax. There you go. That might get us a bomb video here later in the week. Who's the Mopar tax? What is that? It's something that an angry guy likes to yell about if you say. It's a, or at least Kansas City. Aunt D likes his New Balance. Cool. I do too, actually. I just won't do the white with the blue letter and all that. Andrew Nelson says, Sick the Mag just posted an online article on our 2010 Camaro. We are doing 6 summer. Neat. Functional History says, can I bring out some big wrench tech questions like, does pineapple belong on a pizza? Now here, if Cope is not watching, he's missing it. This is a great question for him. There you go. Deb Pendle says, okay, I'll start with a dumb question like Yugo or VW Trike. VW Trike for me all day. David James, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Sorry, mint bore. It's going to have 3 pedals. So what specifically? We'll round up what you've got here and we'll ask this panel of experts because we've got people that know a lot about a lot of stuff in this chat. But specifically, what is your question? I'll make sure to grab it. Dougster says pineapple plus ham only. I kind of like the pineapple. It's okay. I think it's good. 6% recycled. What's going on? 6% Scott. Wow. Mopar tax is big down under. 1,000 minimum for a salvageable 318 quarter rebuild. Yikes. So are you talking about like what kind of 318? Is it 84 and down? Is it 85 and up? Or is it a Magnum? Or is it a Poly? There's basically 4 flavors that 318s come in. Functional History says, is there a rhyme or reason to call outs? Just whatever you want to do. Call out somebody to race, see if they want to race you. It's as simple as that. SRP says he can't afford my Mopar stuff, but 250R is more achievable. Yeah, whatever. The main thing that you'll find about the No Name Nationals is just get there and have fun and mix and mingle and have a good time. And the cars take care of themselves. Yeah, Mr. Meat and Potatoes Jason here. I figured. I remember at the first No Name Nationals, I had dinner with Jay and Jason, and they had never tried okra before. I don't think okra exists, in Wisconsin. But anyway, they were offered okra and tried it. And I think Jason was offered it 2 or 3 times. He told us, no, still no. So we use that now, still no. See, Engine Light Garage is pro pineapple all the way. Dust Devil likes his pineapple. Mad Tree says that he can help you with a place to stay. Cool. Patrick says the only place pineapple belongs is on a ham, no pizza. Ooh, that's weird. Chris says pineapple guy here, Hawaiian pizza. Mater likes pineapple and anchovies. Mohawk 62 says ham and sauerkraut, but no pineapple. Woo! Never run out of food talk with these folks. Oh yeah, that's right. Bad Tree's got their rolling compound. Twisted Mopar says Medicare insurance will deduct $256 on my SSI check. Car insurance increased by $62 a month due to inflation. I'm telling you. Dizzy says pineapple upside down cake. Yeah, that's a good thing. Oh my gosh, you people have more ideas for pineapple than I've ever heard of in my life. Pineapple is good if you put jalapenos on it too. Annie Boyd says, I love anchovies, but will always not order pineapple. Okay. Wow. That was a hotter topic than I ever thought. He says early LA, we had them from 69 to 81. So you're talking about, yeah, well, of course, yeah, it's going to be the stuff that you have there. Man, that's 340 money. Well, really not quite, but that's a lot for those. I couldn't even imagine what a 340 runs down there. Andrew Nelson says, we are wanting a low buck 2009 or later 5.7 Hemi if you're near York, Pennsylvania. Or if you're near southwestern Virginia and have one, I could get it to him. But that said, that I could just courier. But I mean, I can't guarantee he'd want to buy that way. But I'm just offering for what it's worth. Breaded fried okra. Blake, I have no idea what that Honda even is. I don't know anything. I'm assuming you're talking about a motorcycle, but I don't know anything about them. Dizzy wants to make a pineapple upside down cake for No Name Nationals. Aunt D likes his pineapple on pizza is best with ham and bacon. That's one interesting thing too. We've got people from all over the country and outside the country in this chat. What do we have right now? We've got four countries represented right now. Ah man, if Dean got in here, we'd have five. Oh, and Rainy Day Auto. Are you in the States right now? We've got at least five countries. Breaded fried okra with chicken fried steak. Ooh, that's a little too much for my palate. Pineapple and tangerine. Oh my gosh, this is almost like the Weird Hour with pizza toppings. He says if we want a 340, we import from the States. It's cheaper. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. It's cheaper to get a 340 shipped from the United States to Australia than to buy one there. Oh my gosh. And 360 start around $1,500 to $1,800. Oh. The last 360 I got, I bought some parts from this guy, and he said, here, you still have room on the truck. Take this too. And they're worth more than that, but they're still findable here. Of course, you have the thing that people all like to talk about, but I don't know that anybody would actually build, and that's what they call the Hemi 6. Andrew Nelson says, I'm a third-gen Hemi newbie. Professor P is the guy that I would be my go-to for wanting to know anything about those engines. Dizzy's talking about shrimp and pineapple. My gosh, speaking of shrimp, you guys did more with pineapple in this chat than I think Bubba did with shrimp in the movie Forrest Gump. Rainy Day Auto says, when is the No Name Nationals? The No Name Nationals is September 19th through the 21st. So it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thursday is a free day, and that's where people come get teched in and all that stuff. And we do cruise for dinner. And then Friday is racing all day. We run the bracket and call outs and a big burnout competition. And then we're going to have another bracket on Saturday this year, call outs, and we're going to run the heads up class on Saturday. Fun time. SRP says, I have a set of 340 small valves I'll sell. I'm assuming you mean like the 188, 160 J-head valves. Andrew Nelson says, I'll start looking for a 2011 version. I guess you're talking about the 5.7 Hemi. There's Dean. So there we go. We've got at least 5 countries represented now. Tanny Boy says, my mom's parents said pizza can't be a meal. Wrong. Wrong indeed. Yeah, USA. Yeah, we can't count that. You're not in India. But if you were in India posting from India, if you were to, sneak posting from India, then yes, we would count that. Eddie Boyd's talking about artichokes. Oh, my goodness. Dean is a country unto himself. I can see that. Dean is very interesting. Sometimes you got to be on your toes to even figure out what he's posting. Yeah, talking about shipping stuff and red tape. Yeah. I saw a video where this guy was ordering this little Chinese mini truck. You know those things I'm talking about? And it was $2,000, but by the time he had to pay all the fees to get it imported, I think he was sitting on about $8 or $9 grand. Cost way more than the truck. Andrew Nelson says, garage opens early tomorrow. Good night, gang. Well, thank you for coming out, Andrew. Appreciate you being here. 38 says, sounds like we're going to have a potluck meal at No Name Nationals. Yeah, we've talked about that before. We would, yeah, but we could do that. Saturday would be probably the day to do it. Heavens Mopar says, welcome to the No Name Nationals group, Rainy Day Auto, and welcome indeed. Glad you're here. Huh. Search Chrysler Hemi 265. Yeah, that's what you're talking about. That Aussie Hemi 6D or whatever. I've seen one of those in my life, and it was at Carlisle, and it was in a Australian Valiant, and it is different. The right hand steering and everything. One Eyed Cat says they're having a venison roast by the tree line on Friday night. Dizzy says, but I won't charge $80 for a piece of cake. Well, maybe not. Okay. That's still a bargain. The hot dogs were 85. Rainy Day says, I'm not allowed to be a car gal in India. They think I lost my mind. I went to auto school in Colorado. Well, this isn't India. This is America. You can be a car gal here all you want. So Levi has engineered, I can already tell this comment's going to be, Levi has engineered a class around his car. Let's read it. He's thinking next year you do an all steel, all glass factory frame rail NA class. Okay, yeah, I will say this in all seriousness. We should have some hammer fast cars coming this year. I'm hoping so. I'm really wanting to get enough of a turnout that it makes sense to split the classes and not talk indexes, but it will be really nice to have a couple, 2 indexes for fast cars. and not necessarily index race. We might come up with a guideline for it, but I'm with you, Levi, but we can't do it if we've only got, you know, 10 or 12 cars in the fives on the property, or even the low sixes. We gotta have a bigger turnout to merit it. But yeah, I'm with you. That sounds pretty good. Blake says, don't click. I watched part of Blake's PSA on transmissions. I need to watch the other part of that. Cope says government cheesecake. Comment of the night right there. That's a good one. That's really good, actually. Mohawk says cheesecake, please. Yeah. There you go, Levi. You got Ron stirred up again. Still need Brooke to get a ring. SRP says I have 16 adjustable Mopar push rods. Why do you have 16? Well, why wouldn't you have one and then you get 16 cut? Yeah, like I said, we're gonna. I want to see that develop to where we have two classes there. One for the you know, the really wicked hammers, with 1,000 horsepower and all that, and one for less crazy stuff. For 16 people, hey, right on. You SRP, are you teaching shop or something? Because that would make a lot of sense for that. Bad Tree Production says a sub here is a vote for Trump. So subscribing to Cope Racing Transmissions is a vote for Trump. Rainy Day Auto says, I'm building a slow car, 318 and a 72 Dart. If it does a 15-second quarter mile, I'd happy. Cool. Yeah, nothing wrong with that at all. Mostly old parts and rust. Patrick in the house again. Or you can sub here, which is Dizzy Izzy. And you can even sub to both. I am. 38 says, do you enjoy driving it? It's all good then. Right on. Oh, wait a minute. Mid Pedal Motor says if my 302/68 wagon makes the No Name Nationals, we may have a good race. Yeah, right on. 321 gears and an 8 1/4. Don has 245 gears in his 8 1/4. Yeah, exactly. Not many can do 1,000 horsepower unless you're a street outlaw guy with unlimited budget. There's some guys with a pile of horsepower like that. There are. That's mildly creepy, but seems reasonable to ask. Dennis, when I come to Sykeston, can I touch your car? Functional Histories wants to know. I always try to be careful how I read these questions because I bet there's as many people who will actually listen to this live as a podcast, listen to audio when they're driving after it's live, which I would never have thought, but they do. Mexican Spec says, I have never had a desire for so much horsepower. I would like to have 1,000 horsepower between two engines, two 500 horsepower engines. Much more longevity and all kinds of fun without the crazy expense. Wendy just got home. Yes, as long as Rainy Day enjoys it. Yeah, I'd go for that. Yeah, Buff says, I have over 1,000 horsepower spread out over 5 cars. Buff, I saw where you called a couple of days ago. I could not take it, and I haven't thought to call you back. So sorry about that. I'll catch up with you. Rainy Day had a fast car once, a Duster with a 360, got a ticket. So now I slow down because I'm not good at dealing with cops, so never again. Here's the thing. If you want to go fast on the track. Dead Pedal Motors asks a great question that I have no idea either. Can anyone actually help me understand the deal with stuffed animals and mannequins at car shows? I would love to know that. I have no idea. Does anybody with a late model Corvette and long white socks and a mesh hat with what kind of car is on your hat in the chat that can tell us what that is? Buff's just hanging out eating his okra. Okay. Mexican Spec offers mentally disturbed people buy old cars. Okay. SR pieces. I have stock mechanical 273 adjustable rocker arms. Those are great. Those were great design. Mexican Spec. I'm sorry, it has to be horrible. Well, okra's not bad. It's no destination food, in my opinion, but some people really are really into okra. Functional History says they're creating a full-size diorama. Oh, oh yeah, that's right. One-eyed cat. He's got a Domino's Noid from years ago for passenger. That's right. We did have one stuffed animal mascot at Sykes. That's right. Patrick says maybe someday I'll have a fast car, but I doubt it. That Duster is plenty fast, especially for what it is. Mexican Specs says mentally disturbed people buy old cars and play with stuffed animals. Car says, yeah, I would. Yeah, no dispute here. I've always thought the kid leaning on the front bumper thing is just the creepiest looking. Why do people do that thing ever? Okay, there's certain things that just the kid that's made out of a what do they make them out of? Is it like an airline pillow? And they put like little overalls and stuff on it and have it leaving on the number. That's creepy as all get out. The other one, I guess it's all fine, but it's about the most 80s looking thing ever. They'll take a mirror, and put on the air filter, and then they put a model of the car on the mirror, and then they'll put like a 1/64th scale on top of the model car. You ever see that? That's a thing. I've seen that more than once. It's not just one guy's deal doing that. Yeah, Dougster's a big fan of the kid on the bumper thing. Mexican Spec said it annoys me when people with a hearse do the skull and goth stuff. car has nothing to do with that. Yeah, but see, they got it for that. They got it for that. They're more into that than they are cars usually. Hot Rod Guy Garage says better late than never. Hey everyone. Hey, glad you're here. Oh my gosh, Dizzy, that I think that comment took about a minute off the end of my life. Dizzy says, if I make a doll of me, am I playing with myself? I can't. There's just not enough bleach, Dizzy. Taylor says, I just did the math. 705 horsepower between 3 cars, 1 van, and 2 motorcycles. Add another 5 if you count the lawnmower. JB says, who called me Shugu? I don't know. I missed that. Was that buried in one of Cabral's videos? Because I don't watch his stuff. I go and read the comments occasionally. Pretty funny. Rainy Day Auto says, I'm Princess Valiant on For A Bodies Only, same profile pic, which really is me. I think I've made about 2 posts on For A Bodies Only ever. Just a different crowd over there. The only social media I do is YouTube. This is it. But I understand it's a forum and all that, but it seems more like, you know, For A Bodies Only's got some really interesting knowledge on it, though. Blake says, no name is a treat for the creator. I would love to see everyone put in their best efforts after qualifying for the event. Let's keep it exciting. Go for it, people. Bad Tree brings it every year. Yeah, JB, usually they'll start with a cooler name and then think of something worse. Typically what they do. Deb Peddle says, I'm going to try to make No Name Nationals if I can, not committing to anything until after Power Tour to assess the damage. Okay. Functional Histories, that is the channel. So as Colleen said, if one of the mods wants to put up a link to Rainy Day Auto, that is cool. I might be able to do it. No, I can't do it through the StreamYard site. I'm not on YouTube at the moment. So if one of the mods can, that would be cool. Well, Rainy Day Auto, if you want to develop your YouTube content, we're going to have fewer this year than we did the first year because we need turnout, obviously, to do them. But we have content creator workshops occasionally on this channel, and I'm bringing guests, and we talk about how to improve upon your channel. Everything from YouTube algorithm and that kind of thing to also just in general how to make better videos. And we have guests who have much better channels than I do, help them with that. So there we go. Lars just put up the link. So this is Rainy Day Auto's channel right here. If you want to go check it out, check that out. Yes, Rainy Day. You'll probably get some subscribers from that. I see M must be in here somewhere. There we go. Hello, Damien. I believe I have figured out how to beat the monkey bike rules. I can't be stopped. I'm going to tell you, we didn't put everything in the world in those rules. But if somebody wants to just think that they're going to, out creative us, then no. We won't let people build something crazy and unsafe and ridiculous. The speed rate breakout is the biggest part of that, though. Colleen, yeah. Blake says, I have a monkey bike for trade for Mopar parts. Has 5 miles and a UTG sticker on it. Oh my gosh, Blake. You're trying to go full disclosure there, aren't you? Hey, Blake, too, the No Name Nationals is probably going to be your best place to sell that bike. Think about that. You definitely have the market cornered on the CT100U. Rainy Day says, real name is Naomi. You'll be hearing more from me. Okay, cool. Functional History just wants to know if you could take the UTG sticker off of it. I said that. I said that. You saying it, I read it. Oh, goodness. People are funny. Yeah, M needed to wear about 10 pounds worth of chain to make minimum weight for the event. And our front runner in the No Name 500 right now is Absurd Ty Higgins. He is close. He's got 462, I think. That guy will do live. He's a tattoo artist in the Nashville area, and he'll do tattoos live. And it's actually neat to watch. Oh, man. Rough crowd in here. NSB Customs is wishing ASO good health, as do I. And monkey wrench tied to my frame. You don't get away with that a second year. You really need to have a proper ballast box. Yep. Get well soon, man. You got a lot of great health in front of you. So we look forward to meeting you in person in September. Scarlett the Four-Eyed Cuda. I'm telling you, he's got a really cool car. He's a cool guy, a lot of knowledge, got some neat content. He just needs it all to gel together, and he's on his way. But go out and check out Scarlett the Four-Eyed Cuda. And like with all of them, if they earn your sub, give it to them. Cost you nothing. Tavo says Buff needs another 120 to take his Valiant to the No Name Nationals. Buff is at 380 as of this afternoon. So Buff Del Campo, check out his channel. He's doing some cool stuff on there right now, actually. T's Good Time Garage says, monkey bikes. T could field an interesting entry for that. Unfinished project says Dark Sport. Imagine that. Rainy Day used to buy parts from Tony back when, I guess, when he had his Mid-South Mopars car parting out business. Bad Tree Blake's asking if any Michigan folks are here. Lee says, I get to thinking about doing the monkey bikes. Then I remember I'm a big fat dude. Well, Lee, you wouldn't have any problem making minimum weight. The minimum weight on the bike, off the top of my head, is it 250? Is it 250 or 230? I don't have it in front of me, but you're a full-size dude. You don't have any problem with that. Mexican spec, there's a pile of those. It's not just for A-bodies only. You know, the Rainy Day Autos is mid-30s. They don't teach us points and carbs in auto school. When I went to trade school, and it was 2002, 3, uh, no mention of points at all. And a carburetor, they literally took one. It was a quadra junk off of a, I don't know, Caprice or something, and they handed it, and we literally handed it down the desks, and that is it. I literally learned more about points and carburetors in a biological systems engineering lab at Virginia Tech than I did at school, and learned more about them elsewhere than either of those two places for sure. But that said, I did get to learn a lot about automotive and general electricity, the HVAC, transmissions, built my first transmission there and all that. So Dizzy, check out the rules. If you have any questions, just email it to me. Danny Boyd says I was in my 30s before I messed with any points. I had to learn a lot of stuff the hard way with points as a teenager. You know, like lots of little stuff, the rubbing block and the dwell, and what the ballast resistor and capacitor does and all of that. It was a good experience. SR Pieces, I'm looking for a 777 boring machine. Ask Two Hacks. He's been looking around. He might know. It's a Van Norman boring bar. What is a monkey bike? Check out the video from the monkey bike class, the No Name Nationals. Originally, it was a Coleman CT 100U spec class, which is a little 100cc mini bike, and it's little. I mean, it's not quite Shriner's little. It's close. And this year, we've liberalized the rules a little bit, so you can run up to 236 cc's in A. You can run up to 100 cc's with a power adder, and it's got a 45-mile-an-hour speed breakout, so nobody kills themselves out there. Because I know you guys would be trying to do 100 miles an hour on those little things. So, but yeah, it's just a fun little class for two-wheel machines. JB's like, what are points? Unfinished Project is recommending ivermectin instead of weed. I am no fan of all the marijuana worship that is all through society. It drives me nuts. One-Eyed Cat says, you're a great all-around guy, Blake. Here, here. I agree. Blake is a good dude. Mostly Old Parts and Rust says, my high school auto shop in 1987 looked like a used muscle car lot, but my 67X, I guess GTX, was the fastest car in the parking lot. Cool. Yeah, my dart might have had a shot at that, but there was nothing fast in that parking lot, so that wouldn't be that wouldn't be saying much. Not to mention my graduating class was 6 people. Raw English, uh, use a matchbook cover to set the gap. You know what I think is funny? That you'll hear these guys that would say, "Yeah, we'd always carry a matchbook to use the cover for points with our extra points." I'm like, if you're going to carry something, just carry a feeler gauge. Why? It's like you're making that harder than you have to, just so you're making more of a Gilligan's Island field repair out of it than it has to be at that point. Aunt D learned about the points on a Model A long before he could legally drive. Yeah, I learned about points when they went out on me. The rubbing block wore to nothing. And I'm like, okay, I just had to learn a little bit about them, but it was all good. I eventually went to a Chrysler electronic ignition, did that conversion, but then I came back to appreciate points and learn how to make them live and that kind of stuff. You could do well with points. Under 5 feet and under 100 pounds on a monkey bike. Actually, that's I mean but you'd have to carry a lot of ballast on it, but it would let you run a bigger, meaner bike. So you could probably run combinations with the bike that other people couldn't. LP says I found some old pictures of me in my high school auto class not long ago. I was talking with somebody not long ago. Taking pictures like in the 80s and 90s wasn't nearly the thing it is now. No one was walking around with cameras on their phones and all that kind of stuff. And so the pictures we have are like where you would get a group together and pose for like a Kodak 110 or a Polaroid instant photo or something. It just wasn't a thing. And I don't have any just, physical pictures of, in high school. They would get in our yearbook, and I know some people had them, but as far as just like, selfies with your friends with the phone and stuff like kids do now, that wasn't a thing. It's a shame. So Dr. Unfinished Project says ivermectin has significant anti-arthritic properties and can be a novel treatment against the management of rheumatoid arthritis patients suffering from whatever that word is. Strongyloidaceus? Something like that? I don't know. I know a doctor here who prescribes some ivermectin, and he butted heads with the big medical network here. So he went his own way, but he has a successful practice of his own now. So good for him. He's a good dude. Rainy Day and Two Hacks. Rainy Day and Two Hacks put together literally are about the monkey bike weight minimum. Literally. Rainy Day and Two Hacks literally together weigh less than I do. That's right. Eddie Boyd says I barely had any cars to mess with until my mid-20s. That's cool. That's fine. Dizzy says I get points when I do the laundry. Dead Pedal Motors is my first car was a Jeep Cherokee that barely ran. Then I bought my first real car, a 72 Charger Rally 440. That Jeep Cherokee was a muscle car, depending who you ask. Bantry Blake is saying, anyone got a trade for a 03 1600cc V-twin Yamaha Roadstar? Yamaha? What's that? With 26,000 miles. I don't know anything about bikes, so y'all take that post for what it's worth. If you have anything, want to work something out with Blake, go for it. If you do, make some content with it. Dr. Unfinished Project says that your doctor can prescribe it. I know one here that is definitely open to that, but for whatever it's worth. Oh, wow. Danny Boyd says, my first car was a 9-year-old 77 Vista Cruiser. When I was at Tech, there was a guy who drove around. He had a Vista Cruiser. And I don't know what year it was, but it was like the one from That 70s Show. It had the glass in the roof. And it looked like it was painted. It had a light yellow rattle can 220 paint job on it. And it had glass packs. And he would tool around that thing. That was, oh gosh, that was like 96, something like that. Never did get to talk to the guy about it, though. I would just see him. We had class on the same end of campus, so I would see him usually about when school's getting out riding around in it. Used to be a guy, too, that he drove a white 71 4-door Dart. I guess it was a Dart Custom. 71. It was white. It had rally wheels on it. And it looked real stock, right? Real nice. And then I drove a yellow 70 Swinger, 2-door, 6-pack pinned hood and everything. And it was funny because one day we're rolling up and we're stopped at we're a couple cars deep at the light on the corner of Price's Fork and whatever that is. And I'm sitting there in traffic. My car is loud, it's a pretty rowdy little cam in it. And he rolls up, stops next to me, and looks over with the aviators on. He just thought it was funny, like we're just crossing the streams. He was just being funny, but I thought that was so funny. But that car is still around, and it looks just as good now. Somebody has had that thing packed away in a garage somewhere because I have seen it running around here recently, and whoever has it had their house listed a few years ago, and it's in a garage photo of the house that was listed. I'm like, and it's definitely the same car. I'm like, wow. All those other cars, and then they got gone. You had to see them. That one must have sat somewhere inside and someone got it back out. So I thought that was really cool. Rainy Day said me and Small kept her from working at Sears, which kept applying for him. He used to have a buddy that was the manager at the Sears auto department. He'd hired you. Of course, Sears is not a thing now. Dead Pedal Motors says, for those who want to follow my build. So I've got this. Dead Pedal Motors posted it. I'm pretty sure that link wouldn't have come through on the YouTube side, but you could just search at Dead Pedal Motors. That's his handle, and get his channel that way. Functional history goes the other way. He says, my size works against me. Hit my head on ceiling fans and look ridiculous in a car smaller than a Crown Victoria. Yeah, functional history, you're like, what, 6'4" and 4 bills? You're a big dude, right? Buff says, I want a Vista Cruiser top for my van. I kind of do have one on the van. It's not really my style. I would rather have just a factory flat steel roof. If anything ever happens to that one, I'll put a factory flat steel roof on it. Dead Pedal Motors says, if anyone is looking for a project, I have a 71 Torino 500, 72 Grand Torino Sport, 49 Chevy Panel Wagon, the 70 Fairlane. I don't know if Tony's Hot Rod Garage is going live tonight or not. Usually I see a message from him or something, so he usually puts his live thumbnail up ahead of time. Excuse me. Shop 209, what did I miss? All kinds of stuff. Been a fun evening. What can I say? John, we hope you make it out to No Name Nationals this year, too. Lots of interesting stuff making it out. Dead Pedal Motors sold a 70 Swinger plumb crazy a few months back. That's cool. Can't afford the B or E bodies. Yeah, B and E bodies they're crazy expensive. I know that Frank Parks has a big Mopar parts business in Georgia, and he said that pretty much he sold all of his B and E body stuff, and he still has a lot of A body stuff. But as time goes on, Patrick wants to know if that plumb crazy 70 was a Swinger or 340. Mexican Spec said a guy in school had built a 76 Camaro and it was black and raked with the center lines. He crashed and his parents sold the car. The girl who bought it, painted it baby blue just to insult him. Ugh. B and E bodies are overpriced and oversized. A bodies are the cars. I personally like the A body a lot better. But did you know the E body actually has a 1 inch, I believe it's a 1 inch shorter wheelbase than most of the A bodies. Most of the A bodies were 111-inch wheelbase. The Duster Demon Dart Sport was on 108, and also the Valiants, the early ones were on that 108. But I think the Barracuda was either 108 or 110. The Challenger had a little bit more, like 1 inch more wheelbase, and it was in the passenger floor on the Dodge body. The Dodges generally had a little tiny bit more wheelbase than the Plymouths. And they would put it in the rear passenger footwell area. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I must be a little bit behind, more than I thought. Dizzy, I should check that place out. I don't know. I'm conflicted. I'd want to adopt a lot of the stuff there. Functional histories, no. You know how I am with numbers, right? Like, that's my thing. I have a pretty good memory for numbers, for the most part. Yes, but Dead Pedal, that's why I could put it on the screen. And yours is really easy. Your handle's at Dead Pedal Motors. Shop 209's building the car just for No Name Nationals. Is it to race? Is it for burnout? Inquiring minds want to know. JB says he might go live. I have no idea if Tony's live tonight or not. Buff says, I think we'll go live after me. Yeah. I have no idea. I can't look right now. Filoni's Hot Dog Garage. OMG. '72 Dark Custom. And the only reason I bought a 4-door is because of the Bad Tree 73. Well, right on. There you go. Yeah, Jeremy's car is cool. That car is cool. I love the crew cab Dart. Scarlet in here? Yeah, there we go. Scarlet the four-eyed Cuda. Pretty car. See some video of that thing out and about, and chirping the tires and having some fun on a video he put up recently. Dizzy says that guy has a small museum with factory Hemi Dart cars. Factory Hemi cars, one Dart. Okay, that's cool. Shop 209 says, I can't say, but it rhymes with Turbo Nova. Gotcha. 4-door A bodies minus the 67 to 73 Valiants were 111. Yeah. Yeah. Well, also the 2-doors. The 2-doors that did not have the fuselage style body, that was the sedan body, like the Dart Swinger and the Scamp, they were 111. But the like the Duster Dart Sport Demon, they were 108. And that 67 to 72 Valiant or whatever, 73 maybe, they were 108. That's cool, Lizzie. Wendy says she doesn't see about Tony going live. Yes, what the folks are talking about going live too. I don't know. You know what? We're at our time. The evening's flown by. It's been a barrel of, and now Aaron comes in. Quite an international affair tonight. But yeah, it's in our time. So I'm gonna jump out. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. I will plug that on the 29th of March, the last Friday in the month, we're going to have a live here this regular time, 8 to 10 Eastern, 7 to 9 Central. And it's going to be an info live just for people who want to know more about the No Name Nationals. So if you're a car channel and maybe you weren't around for the first or second No Name Nationals and you say, I just want to learn more about it, I'm going to have rotating guests and they'll be able to tell you about their experiences. Who've been here, maybe the first and the second year, going to the third, who have different experiences and what it's like as a spectator, what it's like as a participant, what it was like to do the No Name 500, the whole thing. So anything you have a question about in regards to the No Name Nationals, that Friday, the March 29th, is going to be the one to bring it. So looking forward to that. It's going to be a barrel of fun. Of course, everybody's welcome. And because I'm going to be going to you guys for some of these questions too. Blake says, if anyone needs help, email us. Cool. Yeah. Hit them up. Those guys are great. So anyway, with that, you guys have a great weekend, and I will catch you later.